Hey, Noah Waika here. I spent the last year putting 10,000 miles on this bike with these Tusk Pilot Panniers. I want to take a couple minutes to tell you why I think these are the best budget panniers you can get for your adventure bike. Let's get into it.
I bought these bags last year shortly after I bought the KLR because the bike came with knockoff Pelican cases bolted straight to the pannier racks. They were just kind of awkward to load and unload. Every time I opened them, things would fall out, and I basically had to repack the cases every time I wanted to get something out of them. So I bought the Tusk Pilots. Let's talk a little about the specs before I talk through some of the other features. They weigh a total of 8.2 pounds, so 4.1 per bag, and if you compare that to something like the Moscow Moto Backcountry 35, which weighs 10 pounds per bag, the Pilots are actually pretty lightweight.
The bags are 16 inches long, 13 inches tall, and 7 inches deep. That capacity gives it about 35 liters per bag. I've been able to easily camp out of both of these bags with no other luggage. I also daily commute with them with no issues. Let me stuff one of these full of towels so you can see how big it actually gets, and we'll talk about it from there. So this is what it looks like fully packed. It's a little bit bulgy, but you can see the straps really suck it up against the rack and keep it from bouncing around. Another feature I really like is these top straps let you cinch something to it like a hatchet or tent poles or a sleeping mat or anything just to kind of keep it in place. It gives you a little bit of exterior storage as well. The Pilots also come with these awesome Defender 35 liter dry bags. They act as a bag liner. They fit perfectly down in there when they're full of stuff. They also work really well to keep everything dry, obviously being a dry bag. I haven't dunked these in water, so it's not like I've filled something up and dunked it, but in the course of my adventures with these things full and torrential downpours and crossing water and everything, they've kept all of my stuff really dry. The other thing is you can use them to signal airplanes if you're ever in distress. You could probably also use them to wave down other riders or mark a trail or something like that. They're just a really nice fluorescent color.
I'd also like to highlight a little bit of the durability of the bags. I haven't tow tested or drop tested or otherwise done any intentional destructive testing on these bags. Maybe if I get enough subscribers and or sponsored by Rocky Mountain ATV, hint hint. But I have used them for 10,000 miles of rough roads, commuting, touring, camping, and even getting groceries. And they still look like the day they came out of the box. The bottoms and the backs are TPU reinforced, so they have an actual skid plate and heat shielding feature to them. And the corners are solidly stitched. The actual body of the bag is woven nylon and super thick material, so even riding through brambles and brush doesn't really tear it up too badly. They seem to resist UV pretty well, and they stood up to a full El Paso summer of riding and parking in the sun all day without any fading.
The bags also have molly loops on the back side of them, though I guess you could mount the bags backwards and have the molly loops facing the forward side of the bike. I usually keep them backwards. I haven't personally hung anything heavier than a helmet lock off the back side, though these are very solidly stitched in, one continuous piece of webbing. I would absolutely trust them to hold a fuel bottle or a toolkit.
The buckles and strap fittings are name brand YKK, which if you didn't know is basically the industry leader in zippers, buckles, and strappy things. The straps themselves are nylon and fully replaceable. Just buy another section of 1-inch nylon webbing if you happen to tear through one, which I thought was an awesome feature. Some other bags you have to completely re-sew straps back on or even send it back to the manufacturer for them to reinstall straps. But with this it's super easy just to even get a different color strap to match your bike. I still have the original straps and they look great. The best feature of these bags is how much they expand when you need them to and how tightly they pack away when you don't. I can fit a week's worth of camping gear, food, and clothes into the bags and it looks like they're full to bursting. But when I'm done and it's time to go back to commuter mode, I can cinch the bags tight against the rack and they shrink away. They have a little plastic piece inside the bag stitching that helps them hold the shape, even when they're empty. I've seen people replace them with a thin aluminum sheet to give the bag a little bit more rigidity.
On the subject of straps, that's the major downside of this bag. This bag has 6 straps per side for a total of 12 straps to install it on the rack. And it just takes a really long time to uninstall or reinstall it on the bike. To highlight how much of a pain this is, I'm going to let you watch me uninstall and reinstall it, and I'm going to time how long it takes. So it took me 4 minutes and 10 seconds to take them off the bike. It's honestly not too hard to get them off. All you really do is pull the straps and they come right off the bike. The hard part is putting them back on and routing all the straps correctly. So let me throw them back on and I'll give you a time for that. So 9 minutes and 50 seconds later, the Tusks are back on the bike. If you like to swap to hard cases or take your panniers off frequently to go do dual sport stuff with your adventure bike, the Pilots might be a little bit of a tedious option for you. Tusk does offer a proprietary quick disconnect plate that mounts to the back of the bags that makes swapping them around a little bit easier and quicker. I can't really speak to that aspect as I haven't used those, but I can pretty much confirm that that would save you a lot of time swapping between bags.
One other downside is that because the same straps attaching it to the bike also cinch the bags tight on the stuff that's inside them, it can make access difficult sometimes. If you have something you need to go in and grab that's buried and you have it cinched and compressed for travel, you have to loosen the 4 straps to get it, then re-cinch them when you're done. If it's something you grab often, like a camera or a water bottle or a drone or whatever, it can be kind of a pain. It's the same story with the top buckles. The bags close with a roll top closure that's held by 2 buckles on the ends. It's also cinched closed with the 2 top buckles that go over the closure. To get to anything, you have to undo all 4. You can kind of cheat like I've done with my right pannier I use to store my riding jacket and gloves in when I'm at work, and bypass the 2 top clips, just leaving them loose. One benefit of so many buckles is redundancy though. Even if you break a buckle on the trail, you still have 3 more holding the bag closed.
So are the Tusk Pilots the best budget panniers you can get? For $200, I think so. They're well made. They come with well-made dry bags to help you compartmentalize. They've got tons of buckles and straps to help you adapt to any rack and bike. If you break something, they've got tons of redundancy built in. Yeah, they might be a little bit complex and fiddly to get the straps adapted, but once you get them set, they're pretty fire and forget. I look forward to another 10,000 miles with these bags. Let me know in the comments below what other gear you'd like to see me review. Click up here for another video. I will see you on the trail.